in the heart of the cosmos, a harbinger of doom. Then, silence.
66 million years ago, the world burned. An asteroid, 10 kilometers wide, hit the Earth with the force of millions of nuclear bombs, and the world went dark. It was a fiery, ashy apocalypse that ended the 175 million year reign of the dinosaurs. In what was basically a geological blink of an eye, 75% of all life on Earth was just gone. The titans that made the ground shake vanished, leaving behind nothing but bones and silence. But something survived. And not just the meek and the small, scurrying in the shadows of a broken world. Something else made it through. Creatures that had watched the dinosaurs rise and now watched them fall. Creatures that would eventually become the stuff of our deepest, most primal nightmares. They were the forgotten witnesses to the end of an age. And when humanity finally clawed its way up, we looked at these survivors and saw something more than just animals. We saw monsters. Called them gods, dragons, and demons. This is the story of how the animals that outlived the dinosaurs burrowed their way into our minds, how they became tangled up in our fears.
Ow!
And how we're finally uncovering their secrets to survival. To understand the survivors, you first have to understand the hell they went through. The Chicxulub impactor didn't just kill the dinosaurs, it tore the global ecosystem apart. When it slammed into what's now the peninsula, it vaporized rock and water, shooting hundreds of billions of tons of sulfur into the atmosphere. This massive cloud of junk blocked out the sun, kicking off an impact winter that sent temperatures across the globe plummeting. Photosynthesis just stopped. Plants died. The giant herbivores, many of whom were already struggling with other environmental problems, starved. And with nothing left to eat, massive carnivores like Tyrannosaurus rex were next. The food chain, built over millions of years, collapsed in just a few decades. Acidic rain fell, troubling the oceans. And for years, the world was a cold, dark, toxic shadow of what it once was. In this mess, being strong didn't help you survive. The mighty fell first. Survival needed a whole different set of skills: patience, adaptability, and the ability to find a meal in the ruins of a dead world. Life after the asteroid got weird, the planet was reset to zero, the old rules were gone, and the future belonged to whoever could tough it out in the dark. Stalking the murky waterways of this post-apocalyptic world was a creature that looked like it was born for destruction. The crocodilian. Their family tree is ancient, stretching back over 200 million years. They were here long before the dinosaurs really took over, and they were here to watch them die. The key to their incredible survival story wasn't just being tough, but having a toolkit of subtle yet powerful adaptations that made them perfect for a world in chaos. First, they weren't picky eaters. Unlike a lot of dinosaurs with specialized diets, a crocodile will eat pretty much anything: fish, insects, rotting carcasses. When the world fell apart, they just became scavengers, feasting on the leftovers of the dead. Second, their cold-blooded metabolism was a superpower in a starving world. While warm-blooded dinos needed constant fuel, a croc could slow its system way down, surviving for months, or in some cases, even over a year. On a single meal, or no food at all, they could just wait it out. And crucially, their semi-aquatic lifestyle was a lifesaver. While the land was on fire and choked with ash, the rivers and swamps acted as a buffer. These freshwater ecosystems, fed by rotting debris, were more shielded from the initial blast and the darkness that followed. For the crocs, the water was both a shield and a pantry. As thousands of years passed and humanity started to figure things out, we met these armored survivors at the water's edge, and what we saw terrified us. We saw a living relic, a primordial beast that time didn't seem to touch. We saw powerful jaws, armor that looked unbreakable, and a cold, patient stare that hinted at ancient violence. We didn't just see an animal, saw a monster, a guardian of the line between our world and a dark, watery abyss. That primal fear bled straight into our myths. In ancient Egypt, the Nile crocodile was worshipped as Sobek, a god of power, fertility, and military strength. In some Mayan traditions, the world itself rested on the back of a giant cosmic crocodile. These creatures became dragons and leviathans in our stories, because in a way, they were living bridges to a lost, monstrous past. While crocodiles were mastering the freshwater hideouts, another, even older dynasty was toughing it out in the wounded oceans. The sharks. Their evolutionary line goes back more than 400 million years, making them older than trees and older than the familiar shapes of the continents we see on a map today. They have survived not one, but 5 mass extinction events. Their story is a masterclass in survival. The key to their success? Incredible diversity. Sharks weren't just one thing. They were a massive portfolio of species, adapted for every nook and cranny of the ocean. When the asteroid hit, the surface waters got hammered. But deep down in the dark ocean, some shark species were shielded from the worst of it. These deep water survivors, living in a world of crushing pressure and total darkness, were the seeds that would repopulate the oceans. Their diet was another huge advantage. Many were generalists, able to switch from one food source to another as ecosystems collapsed. Because as a group they ate everything from plankton to fish to whales, they were resilient when any one part of the food chain disappeared. As life crept back into the oceans, so did the sharks, rising from the abyss to reclaim their spot as apex predators. And when humans finally got brave enough to venture onto the waves, we came face to face with this ancient terror. The shark became the poster child for our fear of the unknown depths. It's the threat you can't see, the silent hunter that strikes from below, a perfect killing machine that has haunted our imaginations for centuries. While some cultures saw them as gods, like the Fijian shark god Dakawaka who protected fishermen, many mythologies cast them as monsters. But more than anything, the shark carved out a unique space in our collective mind. It's not just an animal, it's an archetype. It represents a raw, relentless force of nature. It's the monster from the deep, tapping into our most basic fears about what's hiding just under the surface. Of all the survivors, maybe none is more alien, more bizarre than the horseshoe crab. When you look at a horseshoe crab, you're looking back in time nearly 500 million years. Their lineage dates back some 445 million years, meaning they were crawling around in primordial seas over 200 million years before the first dinosaurs showed up. They are literally living fossils. Now, when we say they're unchanged, that's not totally true. Genetically, they evolve. But their basic body plan, that armored, helmet-like shell and spiky tails, a design so successful that it has unneeded a major redesign in hundreds of millions of years. It's a design that has seen them through multiple global catastrophes. Their survival kit is amazing. A tough shell is great protection. They're opportunistic feeders, eating all kinds of small critters and debris so they don't starve easily. They can handle huge swings in water temperature and saltiness, and can even survive in oxygen water that would kill other marine life. But their weirdest secret is in their veins. Horseshoe crabs have blue, copper-based blood. This blood has special cells that can detect bacterial toxins with almost magical precision. When these cells find pathogens, the blood instantly forms a solid clot around them, trapping the threat. This ancient, super-effective immune system has not only protected them for eons, but has become critical for modern medicine. We use it to test the safety of vaccines and medical gear. For early humans, the horseshoe crab probably didn't inspire the same kind of terror as a croc or a shark. Its influence is more subtle, more psychological. It's just so strange. It's a creature that seems to defy the rules of evolution and time. It doesn't look like anything else on Earth. It's a quiet, armored witness that carries the secrets of deep time in its ancient body. A living echo of a world so old it's almost beyond our imagination. While monstrous reptiles and alien-looking crabs were weathering the storm, a totally different survival story was playing out in the shadows. It was the story of the underdogs. Our story, the story of the mammals. During the age of dinosaurs, our ancestors were small, often nocturnal creatures. They weren't running the planet. They were just trying to get by, living in burrows and hiding in the dark. Recent fossil finds suggest that placental mammals, the group that includes USA, evolved right before the extinction event. That means our most distant relatives literally walked among the last of the dinosaurs. When the asteroid hit, the very things that kept them down became their greatest strengths. Being small was a huge advantage. A small body needs way less food, which is critical when the world is starving. Many were omnivores, able to live on a flexible diet of insects, seeds, and whatever else they could scrounge from the wreckage. Their burrowing lifestyle was another key advantage. Hiding underground would have shielded them from the searing heat of the impact and the wildfires that followed. While the world above was burning, our ancestors were hunkered down in the dirt. Some studies even suggest that ground-dwelling mammals had a much better shot at survival than those living in trees, since the world's forests were devastated. The extinction event was the ultimate filter. It didn't reward size or strength, it rewarded resilience, flexibility, and the ability to make a living in the cracks of a broken world. Once the dinosaurs were gone, a planet full of empty jobs opened up. Free from the shadow of the giants, our mammalian ancestors exploded in a wild variety of new forms. They grew bigger, diversified, and radiated into the incredible range of life we see today, from bats to whales to us. And this story? It hits us right where we live. It's not a myth about monsters. It's the ultimate underdog story. The meek didn't just inherit the earth, they conquered it. Our existence today is a direct result of the grit of those small, scurrying creatures. They prove that survival isn't always about being the biggest or the strongest, but about being clever enough to endure the darkness and seize the dawn. The story of survival is written in the DNA of these creatures and in the stories we tell ourselves. It's a story of resilience against impossible odds. If you find this journey into our planet's deep past and how it connects to our own minds as fascinating as I do, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. You won't want to miss our next deep dive into the unknown history of our world. If one animal truly embodies the idea of a living fossil, a ghost from a lost world, it's the tuatara of New Zealand. At first glance, you'd swear it's a lizard, but it's not. The tuatara is the last survivor of an entire reptilian order that thrived alongside the dinosaurs over 200 million years ago. All of its relatives are gone. It is the sole keeper of a vast and ancient family history. So, how did this one single lineage hang on when all its cousins disappeared? Part of the answer is its incredibly slow-paced life. Tuatara have a super sluggish metabolism. They grow slowly, can live for over 100 years, and weirdly for a reptile, prefer cool climates. This slow-burn lifestyle means they need far less food to survive, a trait that would have been priceless during the lean years after the asteroid. Like the crocodile, they were built to wait. But the tuatara is hiding a truly bizarre secret, something that sounds like it was ripped from mythology. A third eye, right on the top of its head. It has a parietal eye, complete with a lens, retina, and nerve connections to the brain. You can see it in young tuatara, but it gets covered by scales in adults. Can't see pictures like the other two eyes, but it can detect light and dark. Scientists think it helps regulate its body clock and body temperature, kind of like a biological light meter. The tuatara's survival is also a story of isolation. For millions of years, New Zealand kept them safe from the mammalian predators that took over the rest of the world. But their story is also a warning. When humans arrived with rats stowed away on their boats, tuatara on the mainland were wiped out, their eggs becoming easy targets. Today, they survive only on a few protected offshore islands, their very existence a fragile thread connecting us to the deep past. Psychologically, the tuatara is a powerful symbol. It's the ghost of evolution, the last of its kind. And that third eye, whether by coincidence or some deep ancient connection, links directly to mystical ideas of inner vision and wisdom. To look at a tuatara is to see a creature literally out of time, a fragile survivor that carries the memory of a lost world in its very being. It's a quiet, three-eyed oracle from the time of the dinosaurs. The fact that these animals survived is more than just a cool biological fact. It's a psychological drama that's been playing out in our heads for thousands of years. These animals didn't just physically survive the apocalypse. They survived in our collective unconscious, becoming the archetypes that fill our stories, our religions, and our nightmares. The crocodile became the armored river god, the guardian of the underworld, a symbol of both divine power and raw, untamable nature. The shark became the monster from the abyss, the perfect embodiment of our fear of the unknown, the relentless predator that reminds us of the dangers lurking just out of sight. The horseshoe crab is the alien. Its ancient, unchanging form is so strange it challenges our ideas about life itself, sparking a mix of awe and unease. No, and our own mammalian ancestors. They gave us our most powerful narrative, the underdog. Their story of winning through cleverness and resilience, not brute force, is the foundation of countless heroes' journeys. It's the story of the little guy rising up to claim a world cleared of giants. These aren't just fairy tales. They reflect a hardwired truth in our evolutionary memory. We fear the predator in the water and the dark because for millions of years we weren't at the top of the food chain. We were prey. These survivors are the living echoes of that ancient fear. They are the monsters that haunted our ancestors, and in doing so, they helped shape the very way we think. Conclusion: the animals that outlived the dinosaurs are so much more than living relics. They are a living record of Earth's most violent and game-changing moment. They are sentinels of time, carrying the secrets of survival against impossible odds in their very DNA. From the brutal efficiency of the crocodile to the ghostly endurance of the tuatara, each one tells a unique story of resilience. They are the forgotten witnesses who saw a world of fire and ash, who survived an age of darkness, and who emerged into a new dawn. Their legacy is written in two places: in the book of life, through the adaptations that let them survive. But it's also written in us, in our oldest myths, our deepest fears, and our most inspiring stories. When we look into the unblinking eye of a crocodile, we aren't just seeing a reptile, we're staring into the abyss of time itself. And maybe, if we look closely enough, we can see a reflection of the tenacious, unbreakable survivor that lurks inside us all.